Hey Dojo friends, we had several requests from people if they could see our new curriculum book, and I said sure, I'll take a few minutes and go through the book for those of you who are interested in what we do here at the dojo, and maybe it kind of correlates or corresponds to what you do at your school. If you have a couple minutes, grab a cup of coffee and we'll show you some of the behind the scenes stuff of what we teach here at the dojo. Alright, the first thing I want to say before I go into these is if you don't train in the martial arts physically in your dojo, a lot of this, will just be theoretical. It won't be practical. Even if you bought these books, which are available, you can get a hold of them, they might look like Greek to you, a different language, because if you don't practice, it's really hard to decipher what's going on, and to physically copy it on the mats takes a lot of effort and several teachers to show what we're doing. So I apologize if a lot of this looks kind of foreign or unusual to you, that's fine. But if you train in other martial arts, you might be able to appreciate these. But if I throw these to the public, they have no idea what's going on inside. It's just too hard to do physically. That's why we have dojos. This is just a manual. It's just a guide that helps us through, but none of this can replace actual training on the mat with classes. So the students bring these to class, we go through a technique or a couple of strikes or kicks or whatever type of grapple we're doing that night with the book as our guide, and then we take other notes on the side of these curriculum books. These are just kind of to help you to get from white belt all the way to Shodan first degree black belt. It has nothing to do with the further curriculums, which are second degree up to 9th degree, which is a whole other section of material that we don't show to the public. But this is kind of open to anyone out there. Here we have two versions of the same 3rd edition. We have a hardback, which is this beautiful book here, which is kind of a collector's edition. It's got the spine and then this beautiful back here. So if you are someone who likes to collect books, like coffee books, coffee table books, this might be for you. This is obviously more expensive than the soft cover, which most people buy, which is just a spinal version here, but it's got nice thick paper in it, really good quality photos, even though they're in black and white on the inside. Paper's really thick, stock is thick, very well bound. Same thing with the hardback. Love the smell of the ink, don't you, when you get a new book? Beautiful glossy page text here. Rich and detailed. It's going to last quite a while, and a lot of people that order these off of eBay request to have them signed, which you can do as well. I'm going to put the hardback aside because it's just a little bit more stiff to go through, and I'm going to go through the soft back here, the soft cover. Okay, this is the 3rd edition. As I said, I started writing these many years ago. It's decades of my notes put together from different martial arts, my different styles of background, from karate into Toshindo, in Budo Taijutsu, different martial arts, Aikido, you name it, my Kenjutsu experience with all of my teachers. It's all in here. But this is the modern curriculum, not the classical, which I'll show you toward the end of the video. So here we have a nice photo with the circle of Budo going into a tree and a moon here, with the kanji for Budo, which means kind of war arts or warrior arts or skills of the warrior, and the martial arts curriculum here. Front page, we have a class schedule which tells all of the different classes that we teach here at the dojo. We have youth classes from 5 to 6. We have adult classes from 6 to 7, Monday through Thursday. We have a weapons class every Tuesday where we do about 15 to 20 different types of weapons. Everything from knives to firearms to sticks to all kinds of different types of swords, chains, you name it, flexible. We have it. We study it. Kubotan, modern weaponry, cell phones, everything. And then we have a Tenshi Jin class every Tuesday, which is our basics fundamental class, which is more of the classical style of Budo. And then on Wednesday night, we have a samurai class from 7 to 8 p.m. every Wednesday, where we take old scrolls, katas from old samurai days, and we go through those piece by piece, and we fit them back together, and then we interpret them into the modern day. Saturdays, we have a full class as well. Youth, adults, we have the Black Belt Club from 12 to 1, where we do sparring and randori and more high-level stuff for people who are interested in getting their black belt, so we have BBC class, and then we have testing and workshops after 1 o'clock every Saturday, randori class, testing, brown belt testing, special seminars with guest instructors. Here's a kind of the page that just kind of explains what edition we're in, and it gives writing credits to who we are, a couple of the photo credits here to our editors, to the glossary maker here, technical notes for simplicity. And as you can say, it says the Dojo Martial Arts Curriculum, levels 1 through 3. Levels 1 through 3 means a beginner from white belt to the day you walk in, up to level 3, which are our green belts and our brown belts, all the way up to Shodan first degree black belt. This is the reference book for what we call in-house students, meaning people who train here at the dojo. Again, you can be an out-of-house student and get something out of this, especially from the charts and the photos. But the techniques are going to be really impossible to do by yourself. That's why I don't care if this information gets out there. I have no attachment to this whatsoever. It's all of my notes put into book form, but without teachers, it's just going to remain that way. It'll sit on a shelf. Welcoming new people to the dojo, it tells you what we do here. Our training method is founded on handling situations of stress and crisis, and anyone out there can learn how to defend yourself if you develop the skills and you're willing to dedicate the time it takes over the years and months, and you have the patience and the consistency. You can learn this beautiful and unbelievably rich non-sport martial art of the samurai. This, the student creed, our creed here, this is a motto for our school which keeps us positive. Make sure that we're doing morals and ethics, which are crucial to the martial arts. I see too many martial arts where people are fighting and beating each other up and destroying each other online and social media, attacking each other and texting and bullying and bravado, and that is so stupid, so anti-samurai, so anti-ninja. It is not the way that the samurai would have used this in life and death only. They would not use this to taunt other people. So this keeps us motivated spiritually, mentally, so that it balances out the physical, so that we don't become bullies and evil people. This 14 points of code of mindful action here was written by one of my teachers, Stephen Hayes, you may know of. He wrote these in the 1990s. I've been following them ever since. They're my code of ethics. They are my Bushido. And that's why it's right in the front of the book here. You have to memorize these by the time you get to black belt. The ranking system, it explains to you how you start, how you go. So it gives you a direction in your martial arts. So even if the teacher's not around, you can see this at home and you can say, I want to get to this degree of black belt. And it encourages you not to just try to get to black belt, but to go beyond that. Black belt means first step, Shodan, the first step, first grade. I want to move up. I want to get to 5th degree, 6th degree. And when you set your goals high in life, you tend to go farther. If you set your goal at blue belt, you'll get to yellow. If you set your goal at black belt, you'll probably get to black or brown. Set your goals high. That way you have a long way to go and many mountains to climb. Talking about the importance of your voice, this ki, power shout, how to harmonize what we're thinking and saying with the world. It's great for self-defense. Little chart here on counting in Japanese, which we do in class. Here, what does it take to pass an evaluation? After month 1, 2, and 3, between stripes and ranks, what do I need to do in order to move forward for my teachers to test me and to see? So this tells you everything you need to know. Rules and etiquette for safe training. These are crucial on the mat. Martial arts is about building respect, not tearing people down and putting your ego first. So this explains all of the rules on the mat, what you do with etiquette and what we call rei, how to salute. The idea of bowing to each other is not a religious or spiritual thing. It's just showing mutual admiration. It's like shaking hands. So we do that. We talk about being safety and safely training with our partners on the mat, and there are several of these to go to. Some positive quotes to keep us motivated here. Really important things to look at when you're having a bad day. You might look over here and see a couple of quotes that will pull you out of that. What should I be focusing on when I'm going through each class, all these bullet points? How to close and start up class. What should I be saying to the teacher? How to ask questions and be bold and brave to get what I need out of this training. You're paying a monthly fee. you might as well ask the questions you need to ask. We are here literally to serve those people who are putting in the time and effort with us. Requirements for advancement. What do I need to know again to get to my next level? Because we like to earn things, and nothing here at the dojo is given. It is always earned. Nothing is free. It's going to be difficult to get, and that's why it feels like you've earned it. So it tells you, what will my classes entail? Talk about the consistency of practice, how we don't want you to come in once a week. Come in 2, 3 classes a week. The more time you put in, the better you get, faster you excel. It makes sense. Kamae, everything starts from the basics, how you stand, how you sit, how the samurai sat in armor or stood on the battlefield with his or her weapon. So we go over the kamae, and I have photos from students here showing you the physical kamae as well as explanations, because everything starts with your stance and your attitude. Bunch of those to learn. We use these every day in class, and we do use English and Japanese in class. So if you like the culture of the samurai and Japanese culture, you'd love training here at the dojo. Different flow of kamae, which is a great warm-up for class to get your muscles going and to build up your muscles. Striking techniques, uchiwaza, all the different strikes here. Here's 10 on this page using your fists. Different ways of striking the opponent to do maximum damage with minimum effort. And again, we talk about, were they in armor? Were they in regular clothing? Was it the Edo period? Was it the Sengoku Jidai? What period are we talking about? And that changes the different types of strikes that you do. We have non-fist strikes here. How to use your body, how to use your voice, your headbutts, your elbows, your knee strikes. Even things like biting and scratching, which are called shizenken. We explain how you can do that in self-defense. It's not a sport. There's no ring. There's no rules to this stuff. It's about engaging the opponent just enough to get home safely to my family. And we talk about legal repercussions. It's another thing we do here at the dojo. We have professionals that help us out with the law in Ohio and the U.S. What can you do? When does it become assault? Things like that. Kicks and lower body strikes. Very, very powerful. Different types of kicks here. There's 7 on this page, all of them with a picture, and another 6 or 7 here. All the different types of kicks that you can imagine to destroy the base of the opponent. Ukemi, different types of falls and how to fall to the ground safely. This is a part that people get very nervous about. How do I get to the ground without breaking my wrist or hitting my head or hurting my back? So this explains how these guys were really good at falling and how to get to the ground safely, so that when you're thrown or knocked over or you trip or you slip on the ice, you don't damage yourself and end up in the hospital. That we practice every class. Then it goes into level 1 earth. These different modules are broken up into the elemental system of chi, earth, sui, water, fu, the wind, ka, the fire, and the void as well. So that you start out in earth, the foundation of everything. This is when you're a white belt, when you're in your yellow belts. This blue page is just to mark off what pages I'm teaching tonight. And we have our different techniques that you learn for self-defense. How to defend against earth hook punches. Some guys coming at you with these haymakers. Different types of chokes. What if they're grabbing your wrists and trying to take you somewhere? How to use your kicks and get your feet off the ground and get your legs conditioned. Someone's trying to punch you in the groin or the stomach. How do you defend? What if they're grabbing your arm from behind, or they're trying to shoot in and tackle you to the ground with a single or double leg takedown? How do I sprawl out? How do I learn how to defend myself with kamae and strikes? Cross grab defenses, a straight punch defense. Someone's jabbing at you, a quick boxer. Double rear shoulder grab. Someone comes up and grabs you from behind like kind of a bear hug. What if they're grabbing your collar? What if they're grabbing your hoodie and yanking you? What do you do if they grab your baseball hat or your ponytail or whatever it is? Bald guys like me don't have to worry about that one. And if they're grabbing your lapel, just grabbing your cloth here and lifting you up like a bully, trying to smash your teeth, what do you do here? This explains it. We go over these every day. We usually have one technique per week per level. So you have 4 techniques per month that you go over, depending on your belt level. You go into level 2 here, water and fire, on page 26. So you have the blue belts and the red belts, this kind of intermediate self-defense. Introducing the idea of this water element and the fire element, how to engage with the opponent. Basically, there are different ways to go through a fight. You can hold your ground, You can backpedal and retreat. You can move forward if you need to get through the opponent and fire through. You can connect and destroy, or you can kind of wind around them in circles, kind of like Aikido or things like that. So we have January through July. You'll see that January and July, in both of these months, you do these techniques on this page. So whatever month you're in, there's two each, that correspond with each other. You stick to these techniques for the whole month. And the techniques are broken down in great detail so that there's no, confusion. We break these down in the class, and then of course we vary from them with questions from our students. So just to give you a quick overlay of things we'll study here, again, hook punch defenses, inside angling, footwork drills. Everything in martial arts is footwork. How to get my feet moving on these matrices, on these kind of chess boards. How do I move around so that the opponent can't hit me, or I can take his balance by moving to a different square? We discuss how to do that. How to get to the ground and defend yourself when someone's getting in the mount or trying to get in the side mount on top of you. How do I get out of that? And they're wailing down punches. They're not just trying to choke you out or do jujitsu. They're trying to wail on you with elbows and hits. How do I shrimp around and move my body and get to safety and get up and out of there? Defenses against a headlock, very common attack. Someone comes up from behind, grabs you in a headlock. Low kick defenses. How do I escape a bear hug? Several ways to get out of a bear hug, whether it's under or over your arms and the big guy's picking you up to whip you around, to throw you into a wall or something. What do you do? This is all stuff we do in class. It's so much fun. Too many to go over here. Hongyaku, the different wrist locks to break their wrist in different ways. A couple classical katas here that work. How to throw someone, these different ganseki throws. Iriminage, that's not in Budo, but we adopted it from Aiki Jiu-Jitsu because it's a fantastic self-defense. How to move in and cut someone down like a sword. Great for small people against big people. And we have two different versions of Iriminage. We have a forward version and a circular wind version. First strike, how to preemptively hit someone without giving tell signs. How to kick someone really fast or punch them in the nose before they can even see what you're doing. It's very kind of hidden. You have no tell signs, and how to quickly go from 0 to 60 and hit them fast so that you can escape. More hook punch defenses. Leg lock defenses from the ground. You're on the ground, someone's approaching. How do I lock up his leg, trip him, break his knee, shatter the ankle or the Achilles, crush the foot? Many different things that aren't allowed in any ring, but we add in here for self-defense for all different ages. Pulls, pushes, someone's choking you on the ground. How do you escape that? So many cool things. This is several months or years of training, and then you move into level 3, which is called the wind element. So you storm toward your destiny to become a black belt. You're getting into the higher levels. You're much more involved in the dojo. You're just feeling it. You're riding the wave, and you're just feeling great about your training. And there are deeper challenges, harder challenges that you can do if you stick with it. So the differences between self-defense and fighting skills in martial arts. What is the difference between a self-defense mentality versus a sport or a fighter? Very, very different mentalities between the ring and the street. Level 3 requirements. What do you need to learn for each belt level when you start to add gloves on your body and randori and weaponry, which we introduce you to? When seminars come up, how do you do those? At some point, you're going to want to give back, so you become a dojo ambassador. You become someone who represents the school. So you have to watch and carry yourself with dignity outside of the school. You can't be putting junk on social media and attacking people and beating people up. You have to represent the school. So how do I become an ambassador, someone who can represent the school and bring it forward rather than tear it down? And then when a new person walks in the door and they're all scared and nervous, which we all are, how can I be a senior student and take care of the kohai? I'm the senpai, I need to take care of the kohai. How can I show them how to tie their belt or where to put their shoes or how to grab their attendance card and get a stamp for the class? Little things like that. Where's the water? Where's the back door? All these little things. How do I do this? That's what we need to do, is to give back to the newer students. And again, January and July, we have 4 different principles that we work on, such as a wind hook punch defense, number 1 and 2, the idea of this uchimata, throwing the opponent, cutting their legs out, Musodori, how to break the elbow, breaking the devil, Onikudaki. We show you 5 versions of that from the ground, inside, outside, from a Michael Myers knife stab. How do I lock up his shoulder and quickly break it? February and August, we have low punch defenses, how to put chokes on people and put pain chokes on people, how to tackle people and avoid a tackle, how to escape a full Nelson attack from behind where you're locked up by someone big. There's the wind ariminage. Different wind wrist grabs. Someone's grabbing you, high-low wrist grabs. How can I manipulate the body with timing and footwork and not only escape, but hit them 4 times before they blink? Defenses against a knife stab. Someone has a shiv and they're coming in at your stomach. Very scary situation. You want to run, of course, but if it happened, we need to be prepared with any type of weapon that comes at us. This is not about wishful thinking. It's about getting on the mat and practicing when someone is slowly coming in at you or stabbing or slashing. How can I use my taijutsu, my body, to escape mortal slashes and perhaps even get the hold of the knife and control the opponent and take them to the dirt and disarm them? It's possible. The one thing we don't want to be is a victim. Binds and chokes. How do I choke someone out from behind? How to get out of chokes. What if someone's choking me? How do I flip them over? How do I use a flexible weapon like a rope or a chain or my belt or my computer cord to defend against someone? How to break someone's wrist with these takeori principles or break their fingers in these yubikudakis? How do I defend against a quick lunging straight punch? How do I lock someone's arm up in a mushadori and break their elbow as they're trying to grapple me close or clinch in? How do I escape the mount when someone's on top of me and they weigh 300 pounds and they're wailing down, or they're trying to choke me with a kimura or something, whatever it is? How do you get out of that? How to sacrifice your body when everything's failing and none of this works. How to just drop and use gravity and let the opponent fly over me and break their head, shoulder, or neck because they don't know how to roll. Yoko Sutemi, we teach you different ways of doing that. Different tackle options. Ura and omote gyaku, old classical things that still work. Ouchigake, koichigake, how to do the different types of leg sweeps from very quick action, kind of like judo. It's what I love about Budo. It's so deep, excuse my language. You know, when I did martial arts in the 80s when I was just a kid, they were like little puddles I was walking into. And then you get your black belt and you're like, what next, teacher? And he's like, I don't know, that's it. There's no more to this. What? That's it. In 5-6 years, I was done. No, not here. The depth is unbelievably deep. You can't possibly learn all of this in one lifetime. It would take 5. I've been doing this 45 years, and I still learn something every day I open this book or go to the old other books. You cannot ever stop learning, and that's what keeps life wonderful, is the idea of learning. Learning is everything. Everything is learning. Sorry, I get so excited about this. All right, this is a cheat sheet. So when you go for your brown belt testing, when you're getting close to black belt, this kind of takes all of these and puts them into 1 or 2 pages here. All of the techniques from the book are here. And that way you can just go through. Do I know it by name? Can you visualize it and pass my test? If I don't know it, I have to ask the teacher or do a private lesson or something, or get with my friends and practice. I don't know what it means to do the water double shift angling against 2 punches. I don't know what that is, so therefore it tells you what you need to work on. Anyone can do this if you put your mind to it. Okay, the battery ran out, so excuse the pause. Let's get back into it. All right, Sanju Nagore. This is the 30 flow, ground flow drill that we do here. This is all about ground fighting. We address it. Most classical Bujitsu does not address ground fighting because that was an absolute no-no back in the day. It was the dumbest thing in the world to go to the ground because you'd be murdered by spears, run over by horses, and on the battlefield, there is no ground fighting. The idea is to get up and survive. You were killed as soon as you went to the dirt and tried to grapple with someone. So we added these because they are a modern addition. They're a modern thing that you will be addressing, because you could fall to the ground and now it's a ground fighting game. If the guy's heavy and raining down punches on you, you need to know what to do. So we have 30 different flows here, how to go on the ground and escape and lock someone up, tap them out, choke them out, whatever it is. We add that to our curriculum because it's valid nowadays. Some of my martial art friends who do the old style balk at this and scoff at this and do not address it because they think they're too tough and they never go to the ground. That's a bunch of BS. Many fights, although nowhere near as many as people think, go to the ground. It's much less than you think. However, if you do, you better know something or you're going to get your butt whooped. So therefore we do this Jusan Nagare, 30 different flows here. It's something we do and have a lot of fun with, because you do this stuff and then you add striking and kicking and whatever it is on top of it, it becomes a powerful self-defense module in itself. All right, what do you do when you get to your higher level? You've been doing this 3, 4, 5, 6 years or more, which is nothing when you think about the grand career that you can have in Budo. You can do this for decades. But higher level focus, what you need to be doing when you get to the higher level, how to pass your tests. When you're a brown belt, we have different testing that we do. We have one this Saturday. You're going to go through different tests. Don't freak out and get all scared about it, because if you're training, you'll do fine. You just have to really bring your heart and soul to the test. You can't be lazy. You have to study and you have to prepare for it, because they're very physically daunting and mentally crushing. But everyone does these testing. I did, gosh, dozens of them. Even after my black belt, I went back and did brown belt testing, because it kept me in really good physical and mental shape way back then, so that I could continue my training at a higher level. I wanted to be the best, so I went to every test I could and aced them all, because I was prepared, I was ready, I was hungry for the black belt and beyond. But this explains in your different levels of brown belt what you need to do. We require a written history exam here. You must take the exam in order to pass and get your next stripe on your belt. Why? Because you need to know something about the history. You can't just practice a martial art and know nothing about the history. That's extremely important. These people died on the battlefield to bring us this stuff. Decade after decade, century after century, these guys from the different countries brought us these things and said, look, this works on the battlefield. The least you can do is know where this came from and the different schools and the different periods in history and who your teacher is and who his teacher is or her teacher and who their teacher is. You need to know about the history so that you don't look like a moron at a party when someone says, what do you do? And you're like, God, I really don't know. Well, tell me where it came from. God, I don't know that. Yeah, you don't want to look like an idiot. You want to have some sort of intellect in the martial arts. So that's what this is. The brown belt written history test is something to learn about the history. And it's fun, it's easy, it's a blast if you like that type of stuff. So how to pass your written test. Saturday feedback tests. Like I said, we have one this Saturday. You're going to get feedback from the instructors so that they help you. We're guides. We're here to coach you along. We're going to help you get that black belt. You're not alone. Everybody that's been before you, which is what sensei means, is going to help you get to where they are. We're not the type of dojo that pushes people back to look like we're great. Has nothing to do with that. We throw ropes and help people up. We want you up here with us so that we can all together as a community get stronger. So it's not about holding people back. It's about what can I do to help the next person get up here and get into the next level. Once you earn your black belt, what do I do after that? The dojo does not stop. You're just starting. Like I said, Shodan, the first step. This is the first step into the depth. And I have entire other curriculums, which I'm not going to show here, that have to do with the deeper part of the martial arts. What they call the ura, the secret, the hidden stuff that we don't show to the public or to students that don't get to that level. It's none of their business, nor can they do it because they're not ready skill-wise to do it. So what do you do after black belt? How do I stay inspired to get my second degree, third, fourth, fifth, etc.? How do I hate the word master, but how do I become like that and continue my journey from 5, 10, 15, 20 plus years? As you can see here, we have this chart, which is called the Tenchi Jin. A lot of you old guys out there from the 80s and 90s recognize this from Hatsumi Sensei. What this was the classical 9 lineages, the Ryuha, that he took and kind of made into this chart here. How to begin, how to go through the middle stages and the higher levels, and then the weaponry. It just teaches you how to move your body. And that big chart on the wall over there, which I've gone over a few years ago, we are still working on that chart. I don't know of any other school that's gone through it this many years that thoroughly. What we do is we take one technique per week, just one, every Tuesday from 6 o'clock to 7, and we go through every single line on here. There are hundreds of them. We started, I think, 3 or 4 years ago, and we're still here on the chart. This is what we're doing tonight. We've gone all the way through here, consistently, without stopping, every single week, about 50 weeks a year, and we've been doing that for 3-4 years now, and we're only right here. It's going to take us almost a year just to get through this part. Then you go into the weaponry. So for someone to say, oh, I can do this in 6 months, I can beat someone's butt in 1 year. No. Get out of here. That's not true. There's so much depth to learn. It's so exciting. So exciting. It just destroys your ego to think you know it all. It makes us humble. It makes us feel like a white belt when we go through this, because it's so deep. Think of all the lineages and the people that lived and died to write down in a scroll how to do something. It is an amazing, beautiful thing to behold. And this is not that. This is the classical stuff. This is the modern. There's entire separate curriculums. Don't let it overwhelm you. So this chart is broken down. I've broken it down into all the different levels for you to break it down so you don't have to do the work with all the techniques. It goes through everything. And I'm not going to go through all these lines or we'd be here for 10 days. All the different scrolls, all the different techniques and katas and principles of the samurai, and a little bit of ninjutsu and shinobi in there as well. Different weapons, all the different weapons, the hanbo, the knife, the tanto, the shoto, wakizashi, the kunai, the jo staff, the bow, the long staff, the battlefield sword of the old days, the tachi of justice here when you had full armor, the 6-foot staff, all the different kamae and stances of the staff, how to use the jo, the 4 to 5 foot stick, which was a walking stick, as a sword or as a beating weapon, how to use that, the yari, the spear, the most feared weapon on the battlefield. We will teach you how to use that for those that love the old weapons, and the pole arms of the samurai, the naginata, the pole arm of power, how to use that on the battlefield. I break down the armor for you because we use armor in some cases, all the different pieces you can see here, and you can learn about the different pieces of armor. Some people want to collect these and go out and buy them. You can have them made. I've worn armor many times and it completely changes how you move. If you put on armor and swords and you have a spear, you can't do taijutsu like you can when you're wearing your pajama gi. Very, very different. Here we have, 42 different types of throws, like judo, and we go over these, all of them, or I should say about 95% of them. Some aren't practical because some are sport-based, but we try to put these in a self-defense way. How can I, as a 4'10" person, throw someone who's 6'2", but not using muscle and strength, but using timing, precision, footwork, angling, all that. The attack names, so if you want to get it really into deep on the names of the attacks in Japanese, it tells you all of that. How do you earn achievement patches? So if you're a youth student here and you want to earn different patches for different things like discipline and how well you fall, how good is your memory, how well is your blocking, combinations, do you have good respect and attention, how are your grades at school, how is your attitude at home, are your parents very happy with how you're doing at home? You can earn different patches to keep the kids motivated. And again, this teaches them how, the more effort you put into the world, the more you get out of it. It's not about being lazy or expecting things. No, you go home, you do your homework, you put your chores and you get your work done and you come to the dojo or do whatever other sports you might do. You might get rewarded for hard work, not just for being on the team. You're not going to get an award or a trophy just for showing up. You're going to do the work it takes. And this is what makes young people into successful older people. And that's our goal, is to obviously take all of this and give it to the next generations who will continue this journey. More rules on the mat for safety. Watching out for mirrors and walls and other people when they're down on the ground. Don't throw someone into somebody else. Top tips for striking from Sensei Danes here, to get really good at punching, different things he remembered from his different martial art experience. Further educational opportunities on page 64. What is the BBC? What is the Wednesday Samurai class? What are we going to be doing there, going over the 9 different lineages of the Bujinkan or the Budo Taijutsu? So we're going to take you through every Wednesday the Togakure-ryu, the Gyokushin, the Kumogakure, the Koto-ryu, the Gyoko-ryu, Kuki-shinden, Shinden-fudo, Takagi-yoshin, Gikan-ryu, you name it. On Wednesday night we study that. We don't have time to do that during regular classes, so we have to have a separate class for these. Tenchi-jin class every Tuesday, the basics. Weapons class every Tuesday. We describe all the different weapons, and I've written them out in Japanese so you can see what they look like. What if I want to be a coach and a teacher? I want to be a leader. I want to be someone who helps the next generation. A few of you out there will have that drive. You'll have that passion, that calling, that you want to open your own dojo. You want to get on the floor and coach the younger people. You want to give back your knowledge just because there's such a joy and satisfaction and purpose in helping other people. It's about serving and serving others. That's what samurai means. How do I do that? How do I do that? How do I go down that path when I have a certain rank? And explaining the battlefield hierarchy of the samurai, the different periods in history, and a little bit of knowledge about the different battlefields and how they set up their weaponry to win. A little bit of strategy there. How to earn weapon certification so you can become a specialist. If you've always wanted to be the master of the chain or the master of the short sword or the master of the spear, you can do that here. You can get certifications, which are basically extra courses on top of your regular ones where you do private lessons with myself or other instructors and you earn your way and you learn about the weaponry, because again, I just don't have time to go over every weapon with every person. It's impossible. So what they do is you get enough people together, you have a private class, and you begin to learn over the period of several months how to get better at a weapon, and there are different levels to that. Gosh, it's so deep. All of our DVDs that we've done, I think we're on number 15 right now. So if you need to watch videos on the techniques on the different levels, different weapons, they're right here. You can get those anywhere online, or you can download them. Major Kenjutsu stances of the sword. It shows you all the different names in Japanese so that you can see it physically when you're holding a sword. How do you hold it? Kyusho, vital pressure points, weak points of the body that you can hit and smash and pinch and stab in to hurt someone. These are ancient, probably from China, perhaps even India. Very, very old pressure points. You don't use them too often because a lot of the times they don't work very well, but some people are very susceptible. If you hit them in the throat or poke a certain spot, they just scream out in pain. So it has to do with nerve endings and things like that. And generally, the construction of the skeletal system, which is why I have a skeleton in here with all the different bones, because I want you to learn anatomy. If you know anatomy, you'll be better at martial arts. So I want to learn how the bones are made so that I can destroy the skeletal structure and destroy the balance with kuzushi, and how to break certain bones at 90-degree angles with strikes and kicks. You need to know what's underneath the skin in order to dominate it or survive. It's what these guys knew. Quotes from Hatsumi Sensei. So we need inspiration from those who have come and gone or our elders. We respect our elders unbelievably so, and we learn from them, and they give us tidbits of knowledge when we're having bad days, sad days, depression. These little quotes can pull you right out of it and make you get in your gi and drive to your local dojo. An entire glossary of Japanese Budo terms I've written for you, so it explains all of the Japanese and English, dozens and dozens of things that you could learn if you want to get into the language, page after page. And an index that Natalie George wrote for us, which just kind of tells you what page is everything on. So if I want to learn breaks, I can go to these different pages here. I want to learn about the knife, I go over here. Or I want to learn about kicking or kamae. I want to read about Hatsumi Sensei or Mr. Hayes, or I want to learn about ukemi, all these different pages, or practice, protection, randori, ranking, respect. All the different things here. So that's an 80-page book full of different stuff that we do here. This is our modern curriculum here. Now, just to take a minute, I have all of my notes from over the years. I have several notebooks at home as well. Back in the old days, we didn't have computers, so you had to write it all out. So here are many techniques from black belt that we study from the different lineages that you will do after you get to black belt, but you need to prepare yourself to get to these because they're quite challenging, many of them, and different principles here. So that's something we go over. Now I want to show you these books here because these are one of my references. You've probably seen some of these before. Yeah, you think this martial art's easy? No. Look at this from the side. I'll go over this really quickly. I have about 6 different reference books that I use, meaning when I choose a technique to work on, I reference it 5, 6 different ways from different teachers, different parts of the world, different perspectives, points of view. One of them is this. These are pretty good. I like these books as a visual reference, but you can see the different schools here. Each one of these represents a lineage of techniques. You have the Jin Ryaku, the Chi, the Ten Ryaku. These are books on that chart I showed you, all broken down into picture form. And you can see there's just hundreds of pages to learn a lifetime of knowledge. But pictures, beautiful photos, drawings of different things. Now, they're not all accurate. That's why you have many different sources you can cross-reference. Because I'll take a book like this, and then I'll go to, Hatsumi's book, Unarmed Fighting Techniques of the Samurai. As you can see all my notes here, and it's completely different. So you have to cross-reference to say, look, why is it different in this source, and the technique says do it this way in another book? My job is to interpret and to question it and to research the kanji and figure out what the principle of each kata is to give to the students. And of course, I'm still learning myself too. So that's another major reference. That's a hard to find book out of print. But I just wanted to show you that we have our modern stuff and our classical stuff. And this is just one source. I have 5 different sources, different books, different DVDs and videos. Sometimes YouTube is a good one, but often not. What do you guys think? Are we exhausted yet just by going over this? Now, people are going to say, well, how do I get one of these? You can. You can get one. I'm not against this information going out there. But is it worth having it just to sit on your shelf and look at occasionally and collect dust? So if you're not training, this won't do too much good. If you're active in a dojo, especially this particular style, this might help a lot. I mean, you'll get stuff out of it. But the techniques, unless you're with me or my instructors, you're not going to understand what's happening. It's just kind of coded to protect from public ripoff. You can get these online if you want on eBay. The link's been below on our videos, gosh, for 6-7 years now, so that the link to our stuff that we have on eBay is always there. It always has been. The information's there if you're desperate to get it. That's it for today. I'm going to go over the giant chart another day because that's a whole other video, but I just wanted to show you our new 3rd edition curriculum book, which we're quite proud of. I don't know of many dojos that have a curriculum as beautiful and deep as this one. And this combines several martial arts for you. I thank you for watching, everybody. Thanks for being patient. If you get something out of this video, wonderful. If you don't, great. Give it a thumbs up, and of course subscribe, because these are all free. All these videos that we give you don't cost anything to you. I wish you the best, of course. Whatever martial art you do, doesn't have to be this style. Whatever you're in, stick with it. Stick with it and trust your teachers. Ask good questions. Ask for a curriculum if you don't have one, and just have fun with it, because wherever you live determines what martial art you end up doing. Fortunately, I relocated to wherever this martial art was to get the knowledge I needed to survive. So there it is, the Dojo Martial Art Curriculum Book, edition number 3. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a great day. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.